It is December 15th, 2021. And let's see the things that I am going to do here, right? So first and foremost, to turn this into a basic gaming PC, we need to put a GPU here. And I am going to get either the Yestin model, I forgot what it is. It's like the model is called the Yestin, or I'm gonna get the GTX 3050 single slot, obviously. I may change the RAM in the future, but these are two 8GB RAMs, so I'm cool with that because that makes for 16. The processor is a i5 with 4 cores, pretty bad, but you know, it's good enough. I may change it out to an i7 or i9 in the future, but again, that's on the back burner. But most importantly, I need to get a GPU, and I'm probably gonna change this because I believe this is only 500 gigabytes, but you know, 1 terabyte is better. Gigabyte, 1 terabyte is better. But yeah, that is what I'm looking for. That's gonna cost about 300 to 350 for the new GPU and the new 1 terabyte drive. But yeah, that's what I'm thinking about. Again, I might change this into to a total for 32 gigabyte RAM, and I may change this in the future to an i7 or a i9 because it is a LGA socket, so it can only take Intel. But yeah, it all has to fit this because the power supply here is pretty weak. It is pretty weak, but we'll make it work. So here we got it, 1 terabyte and the graphics card. We'll see how it goes. I did end up having to change the bracket here because this one was too long, so I changed it to this one. The GPU has been installed. It looks good so far. But yeah. The new terabyte drive is in there. We got the new GPU. Time to run a test to see if everything is running properly. Time to boot it up. This is in there. Plug the HDMI in. The new graphics card. Bam. Let's see what we got. This is gonna come right here for now. Wi-Fi and mouse. Something is wrong. All right, so I took it into my room because I was in my brother's room before. I just used a different HDMI cord, plugged it into the GPU, and it's good. I had to put it in boot mode or whatever, and the only thing I changed is I made the primary display the new graphics card. Also to note, this USB drive has Windows 11. I plugged it in, and I'm going to get Windows 11 on this computer. So, hell yeah. So far, so good, quite honestly. No complaints. I'm about to download Epic Games right now, I'm about to download Fortnite to really test the graphics. But yeah, everything's good. It is slightly louder than before. Not slightly, it's definitely louder than before, but you know, so be it. So far, this is how the game looks. Doesn't look that bad. This is just warm, it's not hot. But yeah, everything's looking good. Let's see how it looks in the game. The graphics is not that bad. The ping is terrible, but that's just the internet. But the graphics, look at it, it's not bad at all. But yeah, PC, running warm, not hot, good to go. All right, so clearly the temperatures is getting hot, right? This is the third game that I tested. Last night, my brother played a game or two, but we didn't have the specs in the top left corner. I installed that today, which is December 17th, and then I played a few games myself. Mind you, I'm a controller player, so that's why this gameplay is about to be terrible. But the CPU is running hot. It's already 181 degrees, and we just, landed. You know what I'm saying? This is only the second or third game that I played today. Before the GPU was running real hot, real hot, but I changed a few of the settings, and it took it down. But then later in the game, again, this is the third game. Later in the game, it picks up to like 108 degrees, like the CPU. So I am going to order a new CPU cooling fan. Obviously, that's going to directly cool the processor. But since it's a SFF case, a small factor form case, I'm hoping that that fan is going to do enough justice for the GPU as well, just to cool the overall case. It is small, and I'm getting a brand new cooler. You know what I'm saying? Because the stock cooler is probably weak, it's old, it's outdated. But getting this new cooler, hopefully, it does what I want it to do and cool the entire system. So I don't know, just watch the gameplay, and then we'll see how the new gameplay looks after installing the new CPU cooler tomorrow. All right. Also to note, as I said, I played a few games earlier. On the earlier games, I was running 120 FPS. At least that's the setting I put it on, and I was running the Direct 12 setting on Fortnite. But again, everything was running hot. So in this gameplay, I turned it back down to 60 FPS, and I turned the like Fortnite graphics setting to performance. And this is what it's on. Tomorrow, after I install the new CPU cooler, I'm gonna test the game on, you know, all the settings again. Hopefully, it could run 120 FPS. If not, 60 is cool, whatever. Because this is a budget PC going into a Dell Optiplex. Obviously, this is not going to be no $2,000 joint that's gonna, have real nice specs. But this is a budget PC. It's just as long as you can see the game and understand what you're looking at, and more importantly, as you can play the game, you know. But that's the goal. This is the first project. If it's good, I'm gonna give it to my brother, and yeah. So tune in for the results to tune in. I ain't no YouTuber. Check back in tomorrow, or check back in later in this video for the results. Dang, man, what the heck am I? All right, so we are going to remove this and replace it with this. It's a copper, low profile CPU cooler. But yeah, and this is the thermal paste right here. And that was my dad playing Battlefield 6. But yeah, we're gonna take this out. It also came with a bracket. I don't know if we're gonna need to use this, but we'll see. We have gotten it out, the old cooler, and we are going to clean this up. Can't really plug this up anywhere. But yeah, we're gonna clean this up. It has been cleaned to the best of my ability. Obviously it's not the best, but it'll get the job done. It's still drying from alcohol. I literally just applied it. But yeah, we're going to put the thermal paste on, and then we'll go from there. So I had to change the bracket on this. It came with brackets, but the stock one was too long for this, so I changed it to the medium size one. This was obviously not the best. It's my first time, but I think that's enough. Come here, Shane. Yeah. Hold this. Now we are going to put the cooler in. Right. Let's put it this way. Nice. Okay. There. Okay. So it's sitting good, but the problem is, how am I gonna tighten it? All right, good. All right, it is time. Okay, the fan is spinning, but let's see. All right, it's spinning. That's a good thing. That's because I plugged it in there. We got to make sure that it doesn't run hot when we are playing. On the first startup, the GPU wasn't being recognized by the system, and it was kind of making me mad. Couldn't figure out why, so I said, you know what? Just restart the PC, restarted it, and then the computer started to recognize it again, so all is good. So before you start uninstalling drivers and all that, just restart your PC and everything will be swell. But yeah, we are about to test the temps here, and yeah, let's see. Yeah, so this is the first gameplay after the CPU cooler installation, and it did justice for the CPU, because if you remember in the last clip of a gameplay, the CPU was also at 180 with the GPU. You know what I'm saying? Like it wasn't good. But after I put new thermal paste and installed a new CPU cooler, the CPU is running at 120 smooth. You know what I'm saying? Staying in the 120s, not even going past 130. It did not lower the, I mean, it technically did lower the GPU temps by 10 degrees because it was in like the 180s, 185. I didn't let it go to 190 because obviously I don't want to fry my PC, but it's staying at 174 right now, which is cool. Also to note, when this gameplay was recorded, the case for the Optiplex 74 small factor form was off. Not the case, but the side panel, you know, to like get inside the PC and whatever. That was off. So that might be why the temps are cool right now. But tomorrow after I install the network interface card, the NIC, I am going to have my brother retest the gameplay to see, one, if the temps still remain at this temperature, because if it stays under 180 for the GPU, I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying? Then I ain't got no problem with that. And the CPU is obviously fine because even with the side panel on, it's not gonna go crazy high to 180. You know what I'm saying? It's not gonna go from 120 to 180, so I'm cool with that. I'm mostly worried about the GPU at this point. But again, I want to test the NIC. I want to make sure the Wi-Fi is good with the new network thing in. And hold on. As I was saying, I just want to also test and make sure the GPU temps stay cool with the side panel on. You know what I'm saying? I want to make sure that the temps stay within 170 to 180s even after the side panel's on and all that heat's being trapped in. If it does, then everything's swell. But yeah, that will be tested literally later today because it is now Saturday and the NIC will be delivered later today. So here it is. We have the card. I can already tell right off the bat, just looking at the size, that I'm gonna have to change the size of this bracket to this one. This here is to connect the Bluetooth of this card to the computer. We have the antennas, pre-packaged screwdriver, and we have the driver. You can also download the driver via the QR code. But let's get to work. All right, so we finally got the card installed after changing the bracket. I did have to add nuts to it to hold the screws in place. It's looking good. I just got to plug in the Bluetooth and then we'll be set. Okay, so I plugged the, it's a 9-pin, so I plugged the 9-pin in right here. Just like that. It's good to go. Plug this right into the card, good to go. And now it's time for a test run. So this is what it's finally gonna look like. Just a recap of what I put in here. This is a Radeon RX 550 graphics card. We put a NIC card in here, network interface card. We put a new CPU cooler, and we installed a 1 terabyte SSD drive. Those are all the mods that we did to this Dell Optiplex 7040. And yeah, I'm about to begin the final test run to make sure everything's running smooth, and then that'll be that.
Yeah, so before I start talking about how good everything is, and everything is good, clearly throughout the video, you're going to see that the GPU, CPU temps stay within regulation, and that the FPS, which we set to 240, um, doesn't reach 240, but it does reach 120, and it runs pretty smooth, you know? Anywho, as I was saying, uh, if you put the side panel back on, your PC will explode. What I mean is that the temps for both the GPU and CPU started rising to 190, and it was rising past that, and I didn't let it get to that point. You know what I'm saying? If you start your PC with the side panel on, the CPU temps will rise to 200. It'll decline, but still it'll rise to 200 and stay there for about a minute, and then it'll start going down to like 90 degrees. I was not comfortable with that, and I don't want it to do that every time. So I just have the side panel half on, half off. Obviously, if I have to move it, like put it in my car or something, then I'm gonna put the side panel on, fully. But if you're playing Fortnite, you cannot have the side panel on. To note, uh, the the PC does run smooth with every other game with the side panel on, just not Fortnite. That means that if it's a high demanding game, don't put that side panel on. Your PC will explode, you know. But if you're playing, like my brother plays Geometry Dash, if you're playing Geometry Dash, you're gonna be straight with that. You know what I'm saying? That game was running 240 FPS. It said it was running 240 FPS, and it was smooth. The temps wasn't going crazy. It was stabilizing around like 150 degrees for both of them. So um, yeah, do with that as you will, but I'm satisfied with the build. This is my first project. It's a budget PC. It's cheap, and you know, it works. Like I said, it's a budget PC. Obviously, this ain't gonna look like no goddamn competitive shit, but you know, it gets the job done, and that's all that matters. So yeah, I hope you learned something from this.